Welcome to the channel. It's Team Money Magic. Today we're going to be looking at the special guest cards in Lowryn Eclipsed. I'm going to be doing this a little bit differently. Just be honest. I mean, a lot of times special guest cards, they're not exactly made for limited. They're just kind of in there. I am going to be mentioning because of the format that I'm looking into is, limited and draft and things like that. I will be telling you, like, if I think it's worth it to have it in your deck or not. But more importantly, like, I really want this channel to be one where I'm kind of helping you out when you go down to your local game store and you draft and stuff. So a lot of this is going to be, okay, would this card pay for my draft? So typically your game stores will be charging about $15 to $20 to draft. So like that's kind of going to be the range of, okay, I'd be willing to sacrifice a pick to be able to take this because it'll at least cover my draft and things like that. So I think that'd be a better way of really highlighting these cards because a lot of their value is not really going to be in what they're going to be able to do for you for your deck, but what their actual card value is outside of your deck. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first card we have up is Idolic Tutor. It is for 3 mana. It's in white. It's a sorcery. It says search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into your hand. So when I looked up this card's value, it is going for roughly between so if you were to get the special guest right now, it's about $14 for the special guest of this. And you can get it cheaper in other sets. The cheapest one I've found is like around $9 to $10. So, this is kind of a toss-up. I don't think it's going to cover your draft. I don't think it's going to go good in your deck. It is one of those cards where it's kind of iconic in other formats. I think a lot of people use it in Commander and stuff like that. So if you're a Commander player and you just kind of draft on the side, then maybe you end up taking it for just so you have it for your Commander deck and things like that. But it's not going to help cover your full draft. It's kind of up to you as far as what you really want to get out of your draft as to if you'd want to take this card or not. Next up, we have Kingsbell Cavalier. It is for 4 mana in white. It's a Kifkin Knight. It says night creatures you control have double strike. And it is a 2/2. So, if it said Kifkin creatures gave double strike, it would go a lot better because there's a lot more Kifkin. There are some knights in this set, so it's not going to be like a dead card or anything. Of 4 mana 2/2 that has double strike because it does count itself. That's like a decent card. You'd be okay with paying that. It is going for about $6. It doesn't matter if you get it in this special guest art or in any other art. Its price is around $6 for any way that you get this card. So it's kind of, again, this one is one that you might actually want to play, but there's a lot better cards as well. There's stronger Kifkins, there's stronger cards. So again, I think this is going to be very situational. If you're probably not going to pack one, pick one this. But it's a $6 card. You'd be happy to get it, third, fourth, fifth pick if it's wheeling around the table. So, it just kind of is what your deck is wanting to do, what you're wanting to do. If you have some Kifkin thing going on in Commander, you're trying to build one of those decks, you'll take it in that. But I don't really think it's, one of those iconic cards that are in other formats and things. So, because that's just kind of mid, you'll take it, you'll leave it. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. The next card that we have is Mistbind Click. It is for 4 mana. It is a fairy wizard. It's got flash and flying. It's a 4/4. You have to champion a fairy. It says when this fairy is championed with this creature, tap all lands target player controls. So this card is going for about $10 to $12. So it's not going to cover your draft. It is a very strong card, a 4 mana 4/4 with flash and flying. That's a great statted card. It's got to be one of the stronger cards in the set if you're able to get it. The downside of champion a fairy, so to champion something, because it doesn't say it in the text, when this fairy enters, you have to champion a fairy. So you have to target another fairy and you exile it. If you're unable to do that, this fairy gets sacrificed. So you do have to have another fairy or else this does nothing. It's not going to be good in those kind of decks. But if you're in the blue-black fairies, you're going to have fairies laying around and things like that. And when this fairy is championed and you get to tap all your targets or your opponent's lands, if you wait till their upkeep and then you flash this card out and then you just completely take away an entire turn from them because they're not going to have any mana other than the one land that they play that turn, you're going to be able to shut them down. That's going to feel really, really good. That's going to feel really strong. Yes, you do lose a fairy. You do have to have a fairy out on the battlefield. But even though this card isn't necessarily going to cover your draft, I do think it's strong enough that you could pack one, pick one this, and try to make a fairy build around it, and you'd be really happy with it. Next up, we have Wanderwine Prophets. It is for 6 mana, including 2 in blue. It's a Merfolk wizard. It says champion a Merfolk. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a Merfolk. If you do, take an extra turn after this one. So extra turn effects are super strong. This card is going anywhere between $15 to $20, so you can get it in other sets for about $15. right now in this current set, like if you get this particular art, it's about $20. Um, I think this is a very strong card. Just taking an extra turn is insane. Now, you do keep it like you're going to have a ton of Merfolk to really make this do its thing. And it is only a 4/4. It takes 6 mana. So, like, there's a lot of situations where you're just not going to be able to swing in with it. And then, even if you do, you're going to have to sacrifice a Merfolk to take an extra turn. Like, when it goes off, it's going to feel insane. But a lot of times, you're just going to be value picking this. I don't really know how. I don't. All the stars have to align for you to really get anything good and limited with it. But like it'll cover your draft, $15, $20. That's exactly where you want it to be. And because of that, I definitely think it's like a pack one pickable card, especially if you're just trying to go for value. Like if you were just like, hey, like, I'll sacrifice this pick just so that I can cover the draft. Or if you are playing some sort of wacky, a commander deck or a legacy deck or whatever it is that has your Merfolk in it, like, and you just needed this card, you're going to be happy to take it. Next up, we have Bitter Blossom. It is a 2-mana enchantment. It's got the Kindred enchantment fairy type, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. This card is excellent. It's going, the cheapest copy that I'm looking at is about $30. Actually, I do see one for like in Modern Masterstroms 2015. It says about $22, but like that's still more than covers your draft. You're going to actually play this card in your deck. You're going to be happy to play it in your deck. It's one of the strongest cards ever printed, really. We saw like early, they do have like an actual creature of this now. It's the 2 black. And I think this one's even better because enchantments are harder to get rid of than creatures. So that's going to make this way more powerful, way harder to deal with. You're just going to run away with games. You're going to be happy to take this, like pack one, pick one, and you're actually going to play it in your deck. And it's actually, after you're done with it, whatever you want to use it for, like whether it's like a fairy deck or commander deck or whatever else you're trying to build, like you're going to be happy to have this just so you can like build it or just, keep it in your collection and say, hey, look at this awesome card that I got playing draft one night. You're going to be happy to have it. Very solid card. Next up, we have Fairy Macabre. It is for 3 mana, including 2 in black. It's a fairy rogue. It has flying. It says discard this card, exile up to 2 target cards from a graveyard. It's a 2/2. So this is going for about like $5 to $10. I saw the cheapest copy of it being about $5. This particular art is about $10, so it doesn't, it won't cover your draft. Now, as far as like its abilities, like a 3 mana 2/2 with flying, like that's just not good enough anymore. Unfortunately, we've just moved away from that. Like you're not getting enough value out of like a 3 mana 2/2 flyer. Now, the fact that you can discard this card and then you get to exile up to 2 cards from a graveyard, like that could be huge if your opponent's doing graveyard stuff, if they're in like one of those elf decks or something, or really any like black deck that cares about things in graveyards. And because of that, I don't think it's like totally like a wash card that you're not going to want to pick. I do think it's more of like a sideboard card and limited. But like, it's a $5 to $10 card. Like you might kind of look at it and be like, oh, well, maybe I'll take it. It's going to do decent. Like I wouldn't personally, like if I was actually trying to win at Magic and like win at my local game store, I wouldn't pack one, pick one this card. But it does have its benefits. Like if you get this in your second pack or your third pack, then like, and you're already kind of in the black direction, or you're already doing something with fairies and stuff, and maybe it's worth it. And it's definitely worth it as just like a sideboard card. So probably not a pack one, pick one, but if it's later in the draft, you've already kind of got a good deck and you can just kind of slot it in somewhere, you're going to be happy to have it. Next up, we have Goblin Chieftain. It is for 3 mana, including 2 in red. It's a goblin. It has haste. It says other goblin creatures you control get +1/+1 and have haste. It's a 2/2. So currently this card is between $5 and $10. You can get it in other formats for $5. This particular art is going for about 10 right now. So that makes it like, okay, it is a goblin. It has haste. So those are 2 important things. It's understated. The same issue we just saw with the other one, like 3 mana 2/2s are just not as good as they used to be. But this one is a lord. So if you're in a goblin deck and it makes all your other goblins more aggressive, because not only does it give them the +1/+1, but they also get haste. And there's some pretty strong goblins in this. Like imagine if you play this on turn 4, imagine if you play this on turn 3, and then the next one you have like that uncommon, that the gingerbread auntie, that's the 4/3 that creates 2/1/1. So the next turn you could potentially have a 5/4 and 2 2/2s that all have haste, so they can all attack immediately, and that's going to feel incredible. Like if you're able to get that, this is special guest, so you're not going to see this card very often. But I do think because of how high the upside is, it's kind of worth the drawback. You'd probably be okay to pack one, pick one this, and like if you got it in your second or third pick or third packs, you would definitely be okay to have it because you probably already have the goblin thing going on. If you're not in goblins, you might even want to take it because someone at the table is going to be in goblins. And again, unlike in like arena, when you're actually playing at a table of 8, you are going to play that opponent that's playing against you. So sometimes, especially when you get into like your later picks, like your pack 3 picks and stuff, you might, if you have a really strong card, then you're going to take it. But if there's a really strong card that you just don't want to see at the table, it is kind of like, okay, well, maybe I'll take this just because I don't want to play against it. And I do think this card is one of those. So, situational, probably wouldn't pack one, pick one, this one. But if you're already in the goblin direction, you could pack one, pick one, and just start building your goblin deck. Or if you get it later, you're going to feel incredible to have it in your goblin deck. Next up, we have Goblin Sharpshooter. It is a $25 to $35 card. So it's a 3-mana goblin. It says this creature doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever this creature dies, untap this creature. Whenever a creature dies, untap this creature. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. So this is more for like, there's a very specific deck that this goes with. That's why it costs so much. Like this is not going to be a good card in limited. It's just, it takes too much to get it going. There's other decks that like you can sacrifice a goblin every turn and you can untap this and deal 1 damage. Like there's a lot of combos with this, and that's how it ended up at that $25 to $35 range. It also doesn't, there's not like a ton of reprints of it. So all that is what's led to its kind of like higher price. I could see it going down a little bit in price, but not too much. It will definitely cover your draft. So you're going to pack one, pick one. But it is going to kind of be stinky because like you're not going to play this card. Like you're just not. It doesn't do enough. You're not going to be in a situation enough where like your creatures die and things like that. Even in like the goblin deck, which is more like tiny stuff that sacrifices, it still isn't going to get there as often as it would. It's only a 1/1, so it dies to literally everything. So I don't think you're playing it in your actual deck, but it's going to cover your draft. So it's a great value pick for that. Next up, we have Heat Shimmer. This is about a $10 card in all of it. The special guest, it's going a little bit more. It's at $11 there, but it's a $10 card. We'll just leave it at that. It is 3 mana. It's a sorcery. It says create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it has haste. And at the beginning of that end step, exile this token. So $10 isn't going to cover the draft. This is more situational. Like now, if you're in the Goblin deck or really any of the elemental decks, anything that cares about things that have enough inners triggers to make this worth it, it's going to feel really good. If you have like a big, huge creature and then you make another one, so I think of, there's that 5 mana or 6 mana elemental that's like a 6/5 that when it enters, you exile the top card of your library. Like if you were able to copy that, you'd feel really good about it. If you were able to copy like the gingerbread auntie card, like the 4/3 that makes you the 2 goblins, you'd be happy to do that. There's some stronger rarity goblin cards as well that aren't legendary creatures that, they're rares and stuff, and they have good inners triggers. You'd be okay to have it. Like you wouldn't want to pack one, pick one this because you just wouldn't know what to do with it. It's only $10, so it's not going to cover your draft. Like it's going to feel bad passing it. Like I think some people look at it as like, okay, I have $10 in my hand and I'm just going to give $10 to the person to the right of me. But like if you're going to your draft nights to win, like you could end up getting more value out of winning more packs, and you get a better deal winning the packs than taking this card. So it is situational. You're not going to pack one, pick one this, but like if you're already in red and you get this in your second or your third pick, you'd be happy to take it, things like that. But I personally would be okay with passing this card to get cards that are more likely to help me win the draft. Next up, we have Devoted Druid. It is for 2 mana. It's an elf druid, and it has tap, add green. You can put a -1/-1 counter on it, and then you untap this creature. So this card's pretty solid. It's kind of like iconic in other formats and things like that. It just adds so much value to you being able to ramp. It's only $1. They've reprinted this card to the dirt, so it's only $1. It's not like worth a lot of money. You're not going to want to pack one, pick one this. I mean, like a 2-mana dork is great. Like it is. That's kind of what you want. Like anytime we see these cards all the time, like the 2-mana cards that help you ramp, they're always solid. So like I think you're gonna be happy to like have this, but it would definitely be a card that you're taking later. You're not really gonna want to like pack one, pick one this. But if you're already in the elf direction, like you could probably pick this up on, you know, the 5th, 6th pick, and you'd be really happy to have it in your deck. It just helps you ramp. It helps you do a lot of fun stuff. It's an elf, which matters. Like you can put this card into the graveyard, which matters. You can activate this ability just with this creature. Like you don't need anything else to make it go off. So I think it's a good card. Like it's a really good card. You'd be okay to actually play it in your elf deck. But as far as like a money value, the money value is not really there. And there's a lot of cards that are stronger than it that you would take over it in like the pack one, pick one scenarios. Next up, we have Helix Pinnacle. It is for 1 green. It's an enchantment. It has Shroud. So to Shroud is like, it's hexproof, but times a million. So Shroud, like not only with hexproof, your opponents can't target it. With Shroud, you can't target it. So like neither you or your opponent, like this creature, this enchantment has immunity from everything. Like you can't do anything to make it more powerful. Your opponents can't do anything to remove it. Its ability says you can pay X and then you put X tower counters on this enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on this enchantment, you win the game. This is not here for limited. You're not going to play this in your deck. It's way too situational. Like you're never going to get, like there's just better things to do than get to 100 tower counters. There's no way to like proliferate or anything to make this easier to do. I think there's like one card in the set that proliferates, and it's a situational card as well. So yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's going for about $10. So again, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't take $10 over winning the draft and getting more free packs and things like that. So I do think you can pass on this card if you've already got your deck figured out and you get this in pack 3, you're going to be okay with it. If you're like getting towards the bottom of your pack, you take it because it is $10. If you are a commander player and you need it for your commander deck, then you'll take it. That's really where this shines. Any of these like situational win cards are always for commander. So yeah, if you're a commander player, then yeah, you probably would pack one, pick one this just because you don't really care about the draft. You're more looking for stuff to build out your commander decks. But other than that, like if you're there to win the draft night, you probably are going to pass on this card. Next up, we have Leaf Crown Visionary. It is for 2 green. It's an elf druid. It says other elves you control get +1/+1, and whenever you cast an elf spell, you may pay a green. If you do, draw a card. It's a $2 to $4 card. So this special art is about $4. You can get it in other sets for about $2. It is a very powerful card. If you're in the elf deck, you'd be happy to have this. You can definitely build around this. Just drawing cards is probably the most powerful. It is the most powerful thing you can do in Magic. Like the 2 most powerful things you can ever do is, take an extra turn and drawing cards. That's like the very best. And then like, I guess mind control would be up there too. Like when you can control your opponent's turn. But yeah, like it's up there as like one of the strongest things you can do. It's a 2-mana 1/1 that gives all your other your other elves +1/+1. It's a lord, so like that's solid. If you're playing standard, running up the ladder down arena and stuff, like you've seen this card, you know what it can do if you don't take care of it. Even in like Pioneer and stuff, like it's in those formats as well, Modern, things like that. So yeah, very strong card. You'd be happy to pack one, pick it for your actual draft, but there's not really a lot of value in this card from like a money perspective. But you would definitely take this and build around it in your draft deck. Next, we have Regal Force. It is for 7 mana, including 3 in green. It's an elemental. It says when this creature enters green creature you control, it's a 5/5. So it's super understated. It's going to be very hard to get there because it takes 3 green mana. Like that's a lot. I mean, there's a chance that you have 7 mana and you still don't have 3 of it being in green. That does happen in limited and things like that. It is 7 mana for 5/5, which is understated. Now it does have a strong enters ability. So like for each green creature you control, you get to draw a card. So like if you're already in like a more green deck, it might be worth it. I just don't know how quickly you're going to be able to get to the 7 mana to cast it, and then how much of it are you getting back for that card. As far as like from a money value, you can get this in other formats for about $5. So you can go down and get this card for $5 elsewhere. This particular art currently is going for about $14. So, it's kind of up to you and what you want out of your draft experience. I feel like a lot of these cards, I've said this, but I think $14 is kind of the cut. Like I might consider taking it for $14 just because it almost covers your draft. you can start to quickly build around it. Just know like, hey, I'm going to be more green than anything else. It's an elemental, which matters. It's got more than 4 mana to cast it, which matters. So there's like a lot of decks that it'll fit into, but you're definitely going to get the most out of it in a mainly green deck. And if you were to pack one, pick one, this, you could build around that. You could try very hard to like force green and stuff like that. So like if there's a world where you pay 7 mana, you lay this down, but like you have a mana dork laying out because you're in green, so you get it out of turn early, maybe you've ramped, things like that, and you're able to get this down and you draw like 3 cards off of it because it counts itself as well. So like, you know, you have this and at least 2 other green cards, you draw at least 3 cards. I think that's a very solid card to have in limited. Again, I don't know how often you're going to get to 7 mana. All the stars would have to align. You're going to want to then be focusing on ramping and making sure that you get like little mana dorks and things like that. But, you know, all of that makes it a solid card that you play in your deck. And at $14, it's a solid value pick as well. Next up, we have Manamorphous. It is for 2 mana, including 1 generic, and then the red-green pip hybrid manas. It's an instant, says add 2 mana of any color combination and then draw a card. So this, from a value standpoint, you can get this for like its cheapest copy is about $4. This current special guest copy is $10. I think this is a solid card. The fact that like you can lay it on, it replaces itself, so you get to draw a card. Anyone who's played against like a Manamorphous deck in Modern and stuff knows how strong this card can be. It can really set off games. So like you'd be happy to have it if you're playing any other formats and things like that. The fact that it replaced itself is solid. There's a world in which like you just have 2 mana, you cast this, you get 2 mana back, you draw a card, and then you lay down your 2-drop for the turn. And that's going to feel great as well. You can do this on your opponent's turn. Like if you're playing like some weird like red blue deck and you have a counter spell, that's going to feel like any sort of like, is it player's dream is going to be, okay, I get to draw a card and then I get to counter your thing. That's going to feel really good. So, you know, there's a lot of high value in this card. I think you'd be happy to take this as like a pack one, pick one. Not only just for the value, but it is a strong enough card on its own that it's okay to play this. Any card that replaces itself, like I said earlier, like drawing a card is one of the strongest things you can do. You're still going to be able to get your 2-drop out of this. Like it's a really good card. You're going to be happy to have it. And you would even pack one, pick one this. Next, we have Risen Reef. It is for 3 mana, including a green and a blue. It's an elemental. It says, when this creature or another elemental you control enters, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tap. If you don't put that card into the battlefield, put it into your hand. So this card is very strong. It's a super strong card. It is less than $1. This particular art does make it go up to $12. But it's very strong. You know, it goes into a lot of decks that are like legacy decks and modern decks and pioneer decks and things like that. The Omnath Risen Reef deck is a thing in other formats. So yeah, like it's a strong card. You could build around it. It's in the green blue color pair, which is what elementals are in anyways. You're going to have other elementals to help this thing go off and do its thing. And because of that, I think it's a solid card. I don't know if it's a pack one, pick one, honestly. You know, it's just starting off with a 2-colored card. Like one of the things that made Manamorphous so good is that it can fit in either a red or green deck. Like you don't have to be red green to make it go off because of the hybrid mana for it. This is way more situational. Like you're going to have to be in green blue. If you pack one, pick one this and you're forcing it and it's just not there, it's going to feel bad. But if you get this on like pack 2 and you're already in that direction, or pack 3 and you're already in that direction, you're going to be very happy with it. At $12, I don't think you get enough value out of this card to take it and be okay with that for your pack one, pick one in draft. But in a later, in like your pack 2 or your pack 3, or if it's wheeling around the table, like you'd be okay to have it if you're already in the elemental deck. Next up, we have Slippery Boggle. It is for a green-blue hybrid. It has hexproof, and it's a 1/1. So similar to the Risen Reef, but, well, not similar to Risen Reef. It's actually better than that because it is the green or the blue hybrid mana, so it can fit in either a blue deck or a green deck. Doesn't have to be green-blue. It does have hexproof, which is good. This, again, is like, it's more for other formats. Now, this particular art is $12, but it has been reprinted into the dirt, so, like, it is a $1 card in every other version of this. Because of that, I don't think it's a pack one, pick one. A 1 mana 1/1 with hexproof is a strong card. Like you can put enchantments and things like that on this, make it huge. But again, it's only hexproof. It's not like one of the things that makes this powerful is that in other formats you can lay it down and then your next thing makes it, like if you put an enchantment on it, the enchantment makes it unblockable and things like that. That's really where this card shines. It's a, you know, the Boggles deck is a thing. in other formats, but I don't think there's not enough enchantments and things around to make this card really, really good in your limited draft experience. And because of that, like, I think you can pass on it. You'd be okay with letting this go around the table. And, at $12, it doesn't cover your draft or anything. It's probably going to go down in value as more and more of these get open and things like that. So yeah, I'd be okay with letting this one go. Next up, we have Dolmen Gate. It's for 2 mana. It's an artifact. It says prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. So funny enough, this card's actually the least expensive in this version. So it's $16 currently for this special guest. It's going for about $30 in other formats. If you got this in like a different set. So that's interesting. Maybe people just don't like the art as much or something. I don't know. But but you're not, anyways, you're not going to want to have this card in your draft deck. It's too situational. Yeah, like you get to prevent all combat damage from attacking creatures. So if you're already ahead on board, then like that's going to feel good. But if you're behind on board, it only works for like attacking creatures. So like if you're on defense and you're trying to get back into the game, it doesn't stop them from taking that damage because it's only when your creatures are attacking. It's going to be a dead card. It's going to be a 2 mana do nothing card. And that's going to make it feel a lot less good. It is $16. It does cover your draft. So like if you're value drafting this, if you need it for your aggressive commander decks or whatever other deck this goes into, then you'll take it for that reason. It is the cheapest version. So like if you were looking for this card, this is the best time to get it right now because it was going for $30 previously before this. So it's a good value card to be getting in your singles and stuff like that. But as far as like drafting this, you're going to be okay with passing this around the table. It barely covers your draft. So, I'd let it go. Next up, we have Doors of Destiny. It's a 4 mana artifact. It says, as this artifact enters, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on this artifact. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1 for each charge counter on this artifact. So from a value standpoint, you can get this card as low as like $8 in other formats. This particular special guest is going for about $16 right now. This is interesting because it is a 4 mana do nothing, and that's not good. If you're paying 4 mana and you're not doing anything, that's going to feel terrible. There's so much synergy and tribal stuff going on in this particular format that I think, or in Lowryn Eclipsed, that you're going to be okay with having this if you're already like strongly in one particular thing, like if you're a Goblin deck or Elves deck or whatever, Kifkin. And because this is colorless, like it'll slide nicely into any of those decks. It will cover the draft. All that. I mean, maybe it's passable to put in your deck. Paying 4 mana and getting absolutely nothing out of it in limited is terrible. So it is kind of like you're going to want to have cards around it. I personally would have it as like a sideboard. I'd be okay to take it just because it's a $16 card and like your opponent would get this, and if they get off on it, you're going to feel bad about it. So like I would take it. I don't know if it ended up making my deck or not, but it does cover your draft. If you get strong enough synergy going on, you're going to be happy to play it in your deck. It's going to feel so bad laying this down on turn 4 and getting nothing out of it. Next up, we have Painter Servant, and it's for 2 mana. It's a scarecrow. It says, as this creature enters, choose a color. All cards that aren't on the battlefield, spells, and permanents are the chosen color in addition to their other colors. This is a combo piece. It wins a lot of games in other formats. It is currently going for $62 to $64. It's an awesome card for many reasons, but not in your limited deck. But you will take this. It's one of the highest valued cards that you could get in your local draft. So yeah, you're going to take this. I mean, $64 more than, that's going to cover a couple of your drafts if you don't care to just turn it in at the end and get some store credit or anything like that. If you're need it, which like a lot of people need it, it goes great in commander decks. It goes great in like modern decks. It goes great in, not modern, like legacy decks and things like that. It's really, really strong and powerful card in other formats. So like if you're building those kind of decks, you're going to be very happy to take it for that reason. This is a pack one, pick one, and not because it's going to do anything in your draft, but just because of the total value of the card itself. And our last card is 1,000 Year Elixir. It is 3 mana. It's an artifact. It says you may activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. You can pay 1 mana to untap a target creature. So this card is between, like, you can get it for as low as $13 in some other formats, and this particular art is going currently for $23. I don't think it does enough in limited for you to be able to really get anything out of it. This is more for like mana dorks and things like that, so that you can ramp up your mana. But what are you really ramping into in limited, like that you don't already have the mana for? At that, like you a lot of times if you like, let's say you lay this down on turn 3, and then your next turn you lay down like a mana dork, it just it's not gonna. You're already gonna have the mana at that point to be able to do whatever you need to do. It's not gonna be a card that you're gonna want to play in your actual deck, because it's right there, like it's teetering on the border between like $13 for, but this particular art is $23. It is a card that you could take and it would cover your draft. So like that'll feel really good. You'll probably take this for like the value of the actual card and not what it can do for your limited deck. That's going to wrap us up for our special guest set. Let me know what you think about these kind of videos. Again, like I just kind of, unlike the other ones, and go back and look through the review that I did for the other cards. I put a lot of time into it, and I just, I really hope it helps people. I want everyone to succeed when they go down to their local game store and they're drafting this, because now, pre-release is out. So you've probably already done a pre-release or something, but now we're gearing up for our first draft of this. If you're going down to your game store and you're drafting it the following week. So, I really hope you all get value out of this. Let me know how you feel about it, and post in the comments anything as far as like if you got anything good in your pre-release and stuff like that. And other than that, just be on the lookout for our next one. I appreciate you taking the time to tune in.